speaking of Chromebooks, also, there is a link here real quick called Ultrabook. Ultrabook, is that how you pronounce this? It's supposed to make it easy to convert your Chromebook into an Ultrabook. Put it in the show notes. Ultrabook. CHR Ultra, basically. It says convert your Chromebook into an Ultrabook. It's a modified Chromebook that is able to run Windows, Linux, and sometimes Mac OS by using Mr. Chromebox's core boot firmware. The purpose of this site is to provide documentation that is detailed, user-friendly, has up-to-date information about the hardware, software, and firmware on Chromebooks. And I guess they have a list of which Chromebooks. Here it is, supported devices in the table below. You look under supported on documentation and then supported devices. Supported platforms, Intel, AMD, and ARM. ARM is currently unsupported. Intel have good support for both Linux and Windows. And AMD, Stony Ridge support in Windows is questionable. And installing a custom kernel is required to get working audio in Linux. Ryzen has support for both Linux and Windows. Mac OS is unsupported. They have quite a few Chromebooks here.
Yeah, I like the Chromebook for you can drop into a terminal, and once you're in like stuff like SSH or something like that, there's actually no difference between that and a regular Linux laptop, really.
Right. Because there's not much I do on my laptop that I need actual Linux applications besides the terminal. Usually it's, unless it's like editing for the show, I'll use Kdenlive. But I think that they even have that for Windows, I believe. I can't think of anything like Linux specific that I use, as far as applications go, that I regularly use. I'm sure they have Mumble client for Windows and VLC and all that stuff.
Yeah, I use this one because, like, for the bang for the buck, you get quite a good deal out of these some of these Chromebooks. As I say, it wasn't a cheap one. It was I don't know, about 700-800 Canadian dollars there.
I've
So you
seen
got
a
a
couple
pretty
of
decent
videos
one
and I've
then.
done some talking on you can find like used Chromebooks from schools and stuff for really low cost, even less than the cost of a Raspberry Pi, and then set them up to do the exact same things you would normally do with a Raspberry Pi, except for, you know, the I/O pins. But yeah, it's interesting what you can do with them, especially since most of them now you can find a way to install Linux on them instead of running Chrome OS.
Yeah, to be honest, like I don't ever use all the power that my good laptop has, my ThinkPad. Like even to render the show, I offload that to my render server on Proxmox, so I can't think of anything that I need a lot of horsepower. I don't do any kind of design work or anything like that, or even audio editing doesn't take much, you know. So I could get by with one of those Chromebooks like you were talking about, Joe. And if I had one, I would probably try this Ultrabook deal. If it was cheap enough where I wouldn't.
A lot of your Chromebooks are just freaking overpowered for what they are.
Yeah, to run Chrome OS.
Yeah, you've got Chromebooks with, like, you know, top-end Intel processors, and why put that operating system on there? So, well, like I said, most of them you can force to run Linux in one way or another. So,
but you know, Android has like audio and video editing applications too. I wonder if people buy Chromebooks and then use those. Like Chrome OS, I guess they have their own app store too, right?
I mean, some of the beauty is because Chrome OS is so light, the battery life is, I'm getting like 9 hours on this one, which is pretty good. But then when the Linux part of it, it actually opens up like a virtual machine, and it works pretty good.
Now, the Chromebook that you have, so is that just like a regular Intel processor, like you would find in a or an AMD processor, like in a regular laptop, or is it something special?
It's an Intel because sometimes, well, when you drop into the, because I had an ARM one a few years ago, I think it was ARM, and you got to watch because you don't get all the packages. You know, you try and install something, it's not available. It's only available on
x86.
x86. Yeah. I'll just see what's in this. Just give me a minute.
Yeah, so it's basically just a regular x86 laptop just running Chrome OS. I bet you could. You know, they have this thing called Lone Star auctions here, where a lot of times I see like school laptops and stuff being sold in bulk and things like that.
My son got given one, like
Yeah, that's right.
his own, from the school. I did look it up, and you can install Linux on it. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but I don't know if he wants to or not. And like I said, it's his, not mine.
Now, what is that ARM or is that x86? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head. I think it was an x86, but don't quote me on that. I think it was the Dell 11-inch line, so I don't know.
Looking at this, it's a AMD Ryzen 5 3500C
Jesus.
with Radeon Vega Mobile GFX.
Yeah, that thing should be running Linux.
Well, most of the time I do spend my time in Linux, but yeah, I mean, I have used the old one. I actually put Linux on it 100%, but it does everything I need anyway. So most of my Linux work is in SSH and stuff like that. So it works pretty well. And then I've got LibreOffice installed under Linux here, so that's everything I really need.
Yeah,